Hi guys, welcome back. Just going to discuss a bit of football. There will be some bets up tomorrow, so I just want to look at tomorrow's games. So, if people don't use this app, I'd advise people to have a look at it. It's called Flash Scores, so it's really good for information on the game. So, here's tomorrow's two games we have in front of us. So, we look at Brighton Crystal Palace now. Neither of them are exactly blowing the premiership apart this year, but it tells you a bit about what these suggestions are, what they select. Now, on a personal side, I think you look at the head-to-heads, Crystal Palace have just dropped away. Seem to be losing the players, losing heart, and yeah, they're just not in a great position. Brighton have had the odd game, but been consistent with the scoring. So if you look at the both teams' score, look in the last games, pretty consistent. They don't score many though. So Brighton at home scored in every game bar one against Sunderland, which was quite a boring match to watch actually. But on the whole, you can see you'd expect them to score at home. So that's always a heads up for me. Crystal Palace now, as a Forest fan, we should have beat Palace last week. Went down to 10 men in that game. And still Palace couldn't do anything about it. Forest actually looked the better side with 10 men. So, yeah, that's a worrying for Crystal Palace. Lost to Sunderland, whereas Brighton drew with them. We won't look at the Macclesfield one. Not really a competition that we're looking at. Newcastle turned them over 2-0. And Newcastle haven't been the greatest of forms. So Brighton beat Newcastle 2-1. So to me, I would have Brighton as quite highly fancied in this. But if you look at the odds, nearly even money on Brighton I think is value. So that would be the selection for me tomorrow. Because Brighton do concede, I was tempted with the both teams to score, but I just don't know who's going to score for Palace. They looked really at sea when they played Forest. I mean, Saw, if he's playing, would probably get me vote again. He's probably the best player, I would say. I mean, they have brought Brennan Johnson and felt a bit sorry for him, really. He probably would have been better off going back to Forest, even though we've not been great. And we'll discount that Leeds game because Leeds, take credit to him, played really well. So, yeah, maybe both teams to score, but I think at the prices, if we look at the overs, over 2.5s, it's quite a lot of under evens, so it doesn't really interest me. Both teams score quite a way under evens, and I don't think that price for both teams to score, yes, I don't think is as good value as the home win on a team out of form. So I am edging Brighton. If I was going to take a both teams score, I'd have Brighton to win both teams score. But I think Brighton's the first look at what I'm looking at. Now the next one we'll look at is Liverpool Man City. I mean, you couldn't really write it. I mean, Liverpool have gained a bit of momentum after having a bit of a tough start, got some players back. I mean, hammered Newcastle. Ekatiki's firing again. but they haven't played anyone substantial. So Man City away, poor game against Tottenham, really should have been beating them. The away record isn't great, but I think Man City just had a habit of getting himself up for these big games. I think the odds shouldn't be in the favour of Liverpool, so I would favour Man City double chance. I think is what I'll be looking at. Maybe the double with Brighton. So I think you could go draw no bet. I mean, if this ends up a draw, it wouldn't surprise me. There's no value in both teams score because you'd say, well, they probably both will. Overs, again, no value. Now, the only value that I'd find in this game is if we get 25 minutes in and they enter a goal and you get even money on over 2.5, maybe consider it. So, but for me, I think the value again, which I don't really like, because is to go with Man City. A Man City win, I think, shows value. I think the draw's value. I think double chance on Man City is great value over Liverpool double chance. And I think you could even go draw no bet at even money, and that's not a bad shout. So yeah, that's what I look at these two games. If we look at the lineups, obviously these are only predicted lineups. They've got Haaland to start, which I think he will. He hasn't been on fire, but he does tend to do well in the big games. Obviously Semenyo, I think score or assist is got to be worth looking at. You looked from the Liverpool perspective, Wirtz has really done well. I think Ekitiki's finding the back of the net now. Gakpo's always chipping in. So I think any of them three, whichever takes your fancy, you could look at a goal scorer. What did I want to look at? Oh yeah, the head-to-head. So when they played earlier in the year, Man City ran away with a 3-0 win. Now, the odds for that game obviously was in favour of Man City. So I don't understand really, if you look at the league position. Again, it's just based on value, but if you look at the league position, I know Liverpool's record at home isn't, they don't concede many, but we're playing Man City. And Man City away record isn't great, for the goals anyway. So, yeah, it's a real tough one, but I just don't see how Liverpool, I know it's only slightly, but how Liverpool are favourites on this. So, just bear in mind that if you look at other bookmakers, you might get better prices. So let's have a look where we get the best price. It's all pretty consistent, really. You can get some nice prices on the draw. So yeah, that might be an option. You could always have a look at a draw, both teams score. Man City to win, both teams score. See if you can cover it that way. So yeah, tough one to call that. So I think tomorrow my focus will probably go in the Brighton Palace game and see if I can find a nice little bet builder there. I think it's a standout one for me for Brighton to go on and do well. The only thing that I find hard with Brighton is if you look at goal scorers. You've got Welbeck, that hasn't got a great assist rate, but he is scoring. And I think from the Crystal Palace side, you've only really got Saw left. Yeah, so it's sometimes difficult to get something with Brighton. So it may be a case of a Brighton win, Welbeck to score. A Brighton win, both teams score, Welbeck to score. So that might be an option. But it's very difficult to put something on the side for Crystal Palace. I would probably look at shots on target or shots, just even shots. I mean, look at the player stats. I mean, this was against 10 men. So if you look at the shots, total shots, you've got Will Hughes for Crystal Palace, always puts in a shift. So as we spoke about earlier, so they'd maybe the ones that you look at shots. You can maybe risk a shot on target for one of them. Will Hughes gets himself a bat if he starts, so he might be an option. Will Hughes isn't a bad one either for cards, so he likes to get stuck in. And as well, you've got Brennan Johnson that will be trying to get shots off when he can. So yeah, that's that anyway. Sorry it's a bit of a waffle, but I just thought it'd be worth bearing in mind the time it is now, that they're the sort of angles I'll be looking at for the bets for tomorrow. Cheers guys, hope some people found that useful. Good luck with all your own football bets tomorrow. Today we broke even, but we'll go again tomorrow. Cheers guys.